Hi, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to draw a shamrock and also how to do fabric applique with your sewing machine to put it on whatever you would like to make. Now, you're thinking, I can't draw. Oh yes, you can. Once I show you this technique, you'll just smile every which way because this is really, really easy. Now, I put it onto a pot holder, so this is a nice simple project you could do after you've made the shamrock, but maybe you would like to make a table runner. So this is a table runner with 5 shamrocks on it. And down below your YouTube screen, I will have links to a variety of very basic table runners. So if you want to do this, there's links down there for you to learn how to make the table runner and put these on there. Okay, let's get started. The supplies that you will need I recommend that you either use scrap fabrics or purchase fat quarters, and of course for the shamrocks, make it out of green fabric. You'll also need Pellon two-sided heavy iron-on fusible interfacing, also tearaway stabilizer or use thin paper. And then also for projects that you can use the shamrocks on, check below your YouTube screen for those video links. I'm going to first show you how to draw your own shamrock applique. I am not an artist. I cannot draw worth a hoot, so I need a lot of help when it comes to drawing things. So like I said, my shamrock is going to be roughly 6 by 6. So draw a shape of a heart, any shape you want, that is 3 inches wide by 3.5 inches tall, 3.5 inches high. So draw a template. Then you're going to draw a 6-inch square, 6 by 6. Take that square and take your heart and place it up in the corner there to where the top of the heart meets the edges of the square. And I try to center this piece going up this way and this little point down here going down towards the other corner. And then just take a pencil and trace around it. Alrighty, now go over to the other corner. I think you see what's happening here, and trace around it. And then do the same thing, line it up over here and trace around it. All right, so now you can see your 3 leaves. Now to draw a stem, you have several options. You can make your stem straight by drawing 2 straight lines that are about 1/2 inch apart, or just freehand draw a little curve. So it's up to you how you want to draw your stem. Really, really easy. Then go ahead and just cut your pattern out. You can draw this on cardstock. So that's what this is. This is just cardstock. So whenever I make templates, I always put them on the cardstock because they're easy to use over and over again. Now let me show you how I like to make my applique patterns. I like to cheat. Here's some shamrock fabric. At the beginning of January every year, you're going to see lots and lots of shamrock fabrics in the fabric store. Because I wanted a shamrock larger than this, I put this fabric in my photocopier printer and enlarged it. And this is what it came out to. Look how big this is. So this is my pattern. Then I cut it out of the paper and then traced it onto my cardstock. So that's a really easy way to make applique patterns. So now let me show you how to put your fusible webbing together. Fusible web comes in sheets that are about 9.5 inches by 12. Now on the back, the paper is very plain. There's nothing on it. And then on the front are these grid lines. Now some of them have yellow like this. Some of the others that I've used have blue grid lines. This is the side you either draw your pattern or trace from a template. So on the grid line side. So go ahead and just lay your template down, and then with a pencil, go ahead and trace around all of the edges. So now you need to cut it out of that large sheet. So when you're cutting it, you want to leave a little bit of space between the lines and here. So leave about 1/4 of an inch of fusible web extending past all of the edges. All right, now take your fabric. Now here's my fabric that I want to do my applique on. This is the front. Turn it over to the back, and that's where you want to put it on. Now how you get it on there is you remove the paper from the back of the applique, or the applique paper. So take the thin paper off the back, and I always have a hard time getting a hold of it. There we go. Now as you're lifting this off, make sure the glue is still on the grid line paper, and it is. So remove this off and then place that glue side down on the back of your fabric. Then finger press it real good all over. Then with a small pair of scissors, cut on your drawn lines all the way around. And when you're done, it comes out like this. Isn't that cool looking? These are so easy to do. Now, to put it on your fabric that you're going to use in whatever project you're going to make. For instance, if I was making a pot holder, I'm going to place my applique like this, where each leaf is facing a corner. Now, this is just a suggestion. You can put it any way you want. How you get it to stick on there. You're going to peel off the fabric, the grid line paper, the grid line paper. Make sure the glue, and it still is sticking down there. So you lift it off and you just lay it down there and center it. Now you can still lift it up and shift it around if you need to. So keep moving, fussing with it till you get it where you like it. Then finger press it down all over real good. Now you're going to go to your ironing board, and you're going to place a plain piece of fabric on there, and a damp. Make sure it's damp, and I always keep a spray bottle near my ironing board, so if my cloth starts to dry out, I just spray it again. Then make sure it's damp. Follow the instructions on the package for permanently fusing it on. It's going to tell you to use a hot iron with steam, and it'll tell you how many seconds to hold it down. It could be 10, 12, 15 seconds, whatever. Hold it down. Make sure you cover all of the areas. So you keep moving it around till you've gotten all of the areas. Now it is permanently fused on. Now you need to decide what kind of applique stitches you're going to use and the type of presser foot to use. Now I recommend you use an open toe presser foot. There's nothing in here. If my needle was right here, you would be able to see it clearly. This is what I recommend to do machine applique. These are very inexpensive to purchase. I got mine on the internet. It was maybe $10, if that much. It wasn't very expensive at all. So go on the internet or go to your local sewing machine store and make sure the one you get is going to work with your machine. Not all presser feet work on all machines, so you want to verify which one you need. And the reason why I like this is that when you're doing your applique stitches, that little red dot there is, you want to line it up on the edge. That way you keep the stitches nice and centered. Now, what kind of stitch should you use? I always test stitch mine out. For instance, this is a really small satin stitch right here. And right next to it is a medium satin stitch. Now when you're selecting your stitches, you want to look at the size of your applique pattern. If it's a really large applique like this one is, I recommend you go with at least a medium size stitch. Now here's a couple of other stitches. Here's one that is somewhat of a medium stitch, and it stays in place a couple of times. It goes back and forth a whole bunch of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes back and forth a whole bunch of times, so it looks thick. Now down here is a very similar stitch, but it's really small, it's not very noticeable, and it only goes back and forth once or twice, not very many. So this is the one I went with. So let's look at my finished pot holder here. This one looks great with this stitch, and that medium satin stitch would also work really well. Now supposing you don't have any of these fancy decorative stitches on your machine, you probably have a zigzag stitch. You can always use your zigzag stitch. When you're doing this and you're going around your corners, you want to go slow. My sewing machine is a higher end machine, so I have so many features on it, I don't even know what that machine does completely. It has so much stuff on it. But one of the things that I like about it that's great for machine applique is I can set it to where the needle stays down and the pressure foot lifts up every time I stop. So it's easy to stitch a little bit, it lifts up, I turn the fabric, and I stitch a little bit. If you don't have that feature, you need to stitch a little bit, stop, lift up the presser foot, turn the fabric a little bit, stitch again a little bit, and keep repeating that over and over again. So a lot of the newer machines have that feature on it. So if you're really wanting to get into machine applique, I would recommend you kind of go look at one and start pricing it out and saving your Starbucks coffee money for a new sewing machine. Okay, so when you're done, let's look at the finished product. Oh, by the way, one of the things I forgot to mention, put paper like this. This is thin paper, or tearaway stabilizer. This is really important. This will prevent your applique from bunching up. Now this paper that I'm using, I purchased it at a hardware store in the paint department. And it's really thin paper, and it's really inexpensive. It's easily affordable. It comes in large widths, 12-inch wide and 6-inch wide. So if you want to do a lot of machine applique and the tearaway stabilizer is a little out of your price range, use this thin paper. It works great. I use this all the time, and I really like it. And when you're done, you just tear the paper off the back. So let's look at the finished one. So here's the pot holder. Remember, click on any one of the pot holder videos, and whatever is in the center of that pot holder in that video, you replace with the Shamrock. I hope you learned something new in this video tutorial, and you got to admit, this is really easy. Now for other pot holder projects, machine applique projects, table runners, check below your YouTube screen for the video links. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, and make sure you also check out my Facebook page. Thanks for watching. Happy sewing, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click on the thumbs up button, and don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, click on that red subscribe button down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Click on the bell so you can receive notifications about my latest videos. I'm Cheryl, and this is Scotty, and this is Manny. See you next time, and happy sewing!